Are you struggling with gift ideas for your friends and family who have decided to become new homesteaders? Well, behind us on the table, we've got our top 14 tools that we use all the time here on the homestead, including the top 5 that I use on a daily basis here on our homestead. So stay with us and find out what they are. So these tools you see on the table in front of me are the ones that we recommend that any new homesteader owns before they move out into a country setting. Now, I know a lot of homesteaders are in the city, and that's cool, and I'm sure you've got tools already for the jobs that you need to get done there. But this is what I think you need when you're moving out to the countryside. And I have to add the caveat that every homestead is different, right? So we don't have an axe here on the table. We don't exclusively heat our house with wood. We use other means to heat it. So those of you in the north who are going to move out and going to try to heat your house with wood, I would add an axe in here or a splitting maul or something along those lines. But for us, for here in the south in Texas, and for a lot of you who are just starting out, this is a great list of tools. So let's look at the first category here on the table. And I'm going to lump these 3 together because I use them almost exclusively all the time together. And that is a pipe wrench, a pair of channel locks, and a hacksaw. Now, why all those 3 things together is because we use a lot of PVC for drainage and for water pipe on the exterior, outside here on the homestead. For irrigation, you might have seen some of our previous videos where we replaced the pressure tank for our well. We ran water to our garden and to irrigate our garden. We'll be doing that for our greenhouse soon. We'll be doing that for our chicken coop soon. So these tools are always needed. I'm always doing a project, it seems like on a weekly basis, with these tools. And these 3 tools will get you by really well with putting in water line. You can also put in like galvanized water line, and you're going to need definitely the channel locks and the pipe wrench for putting fittings on, those types of things. Putting fittings on a lot of different projects is really important. These 2 wrenches are going to be your best friends when it comes to that. Okay, let's move on from there. We're always repairing things, right? So those channel locks come in handy when we're doing some mechanical work. But simple mechanical work, a socket set. A socket set, and we've got 2 here. We've got a 3/8" drive and a 1/4" drive. We don't really have the use for a 1/2" drive, although some upcoming tractor repairs, we could use a 1/2" drive with some bigger sockets on it. That might be in our future. So all your sets of sockets, maybe I recommend having for your mechanical repair, because there's a lot of things that come up. A lot of things that break and a lot of things that come up. You know, you're doing oil changes, you're doing brakes on your vehicles, things like that. Being more self-sustaining, a socket set is great to have. Now, I've got a couple of quick clamps here. We do a lot of working with wood, and these quick clamps are unbelievably amazing. They come in handy for a lot of different things. I've even used them, you know, to hold pipe while I'm, you know, trying to install it, say, when I did the well tank replacement. They come in handy for so many different things, for carpentry, for holding things. I've used them in the garden even. Hey, if you're enjoying the video, we'd love to send you down below the video and hit that subscribe button. And don't forget to hit that little notification bell and give a thumbs up to the video. It helps us out a lot. Also, don't forget to head over to countrylivingexperience.com to read our blog and visit our tool store, and to always look in the description below for all the tools that we recommend here on our homestead. All right, now back to the video. So let's shift a little bit to the garden. And I'm going to leave one tool out from our garden discussion because that is going to be in those top 5 that I talked about, the top 5 tools I use on a daily basis. One of them is useful in the garden, but it's also useful for a myriad other different things. So let's talk about the 3 tools that I use a lot in the garden here. A spade shovel. Cannot get by without a spade shovel on your homestead. Absolutely not. You are always digging, always digging, always digging, digging holes, digging everything, digging trenches, whatever it may be, scooping things up. You know, is it efficient for scooping things like wood chips? No, you need a flat shovel for that. But if you only have one shovel and you only can afford one shovel, a spade shovel is the shovel to have. Second one is a pitchfork. This is a 10-tine pitchfork. Some people prefer a 6-tine pitchfork, but it really depends on what you're using it for. So we use ours a lot for moving wood chips. Same thing with the shovel, but you can also do it with a 10-tine pitchfork. It works just fine. We use it in our compost pile a lot, in our garden a lot as well, to aerate the soil in our beds. We use it like a broad fork, where we stick it out or stick it down in the soil and pull back just to aerate the soil. So that is a very, very useful tool, and I'm always using this thing probably 3-4 times a week at least. And the last one, but not least, is a garden sprayer. You've seen one of my other videos where I've done a review on a lot of different garden sprayers within the $20 to $30 price point range. Now there's some more expensive ones you can get, but that's what we like, is between the $20 and $30 price point. This Chapin Pro Series is unbelievable. We use it in the summertime especially, daily. And we have at least 10 of them here on the homestead where we have different mixtures in them. So this one I could see had my copper solution in it for combating powdery mildew and some other types of fungus and disease growth in the garden. We use this exclusively for just taking care of those garden veggies and our fruit trees. Also, we've just started utilizing a salt solution to kill grass on our driveway. We use a small sprayer for that. We do it around the house. We're going to be doing another video on that in the future. Okay, I misspoke earlier when I said there was only one saw in this collection of starter tools for a homestead. I have 2, and this one is really important as well. This is a small battery-powered circular saw. It's a 4.5 inch. This is my 14-year-old Ryobi, and it's still going strong. No problems with it at all. Works perfect. It's very handy in building projects out on your homestead, you know, carpentry projects, framing projects. You're building little things. You need to be away from, or you're away from a power source. Having a battery-powered circular saw is really important. Gotten some work done on the chicken coop recently, and I highly recommend having that in your collection. So here they are, the top 5 tools that I use on a daily basis here on the homestead. I don't go anywhere without them on my homestead, and they are used indoor, outdoor, for everything. So let's talk about the first one here. This kind of crosses categories, I guess you could say. This is a pair of Cutco shears. I've had these for 25 years, and they are an amazing investment. They are absolutely the toughest pair of shears that I've ever come across. Now, yeah, they're a little smaller, but they work perfectly for a lot of different jobs. I use them in the house, in the garden, in the barn, in the shop, in the stable, everywhere on the homestead. They've cut metal. They cut metal flashing for use on the house, in the deck, in repairing the siding. They've cut the fabric that I've laid down in the garden. They've cut wire fencing, actually. They're perfect for cutting a hardware cloth, and they cut chicken wire. They just like butter right through it. I've used them to, you know, prune a lot. Prune vines, prune old bean vines, pole beans out of the garden, prune my asparagus out, prune my tomatoes. I cut tomato hornworms in half with these, but they are unbelievably tough. They'll actually cut a penny in half. That's kind of their claim to fame, and they're not joking because I've done it with these. So a pair of these Cutco shears, incredibly important to have. I'd keep them on your person at all time because they obviously have many uses inside the house as well. I can't even tell you how many jobs I've used those for. Okay, tool number 2 is an impact driver. Now this is better than just a regular drill driver in that I am usually screwing things together using this more than I am drilling and screwing things. So that's more of a finer finish, so you're not splitting the wood. But this one I've used so much more to just put raw pieces of material together, to repair material and put it back together. And obviously with this quick detach here, I can put my sockets on, and that helps a lot when you're doing mechanical work. It's small, so I can get into tight spaces with it if I'm doing mechanical work with it. I use this thing all the time. I need more batteries for it because I don't have enough, because I run through these batteries so much utilizing this tool for so many different jobs on the homestead. All right, we're kind of getting to the ones that I use the most. I mean, all these are kind of tied, but a pair of lineman's pliers. Okay, so this might be a little bit different for those of you on a homestead where you have barbed wire. You're going to want a pair of fencing pliers. They have a little mouth or a bird's beak on it, and they work a little bit differently. But these, since we don't have livestock and we don't have any barbed wire for our livestock, it's really unnecessary for us. These are perfect. They have a cutter and obviously the plier part. I've used these for fencing a lot, and you've seen that in past videos, but I'm always using these. I pull things out with this, I'll twist things, I'll break things off with it, grab things that I can't grab, but these are always in my pocket for some job that needs to get done, and I never go anywhere without this pair of pliers. The last two, all right, last two. You might say this isn't a tool. In my mind it is. It's a pair of solid, thick, heavy-duty gloves, leather gloves. Your hands will get torn up working out here a lot. They'll get torn up doing different jobs, moving wood. You don't want splinters in your hands. They'll get torn up throwing around logs. They'll get torn up doing a lot of different things. There's probably things you don't want to stick your hands in. That leather isn't the best to go into, you know, some sort of substance, but say, you know, there's a chemical that's painted on something or dusted on something, like we've got 7 dust in here on certain things to keep the fleas down, and you don't really want to be touching it with your hands. A pair of good gloves are useful for so many different jobs, and so you don't cut your hand, you don't beat your hands up, you don't get slivers, so on and so forth. I've got probably 20 pairs of gloves scattered all over. I probably don't have to tell you what the #1 tool is to have on your homestead. This can be with you absolutely anywhere you're at, but on a homestead it's incredibly useful, and that's a good knife. Now, this isn't a $200 knife, it's not a Benchmade. This is a Kershaw, and it's about $40, but it is incredibly useful. It never leaves my side. It's always clipped to my pocket. You want one with a nice clip on it, so it's always clipped in your pocket. It's easy to use. I use it in the garden. I use it in the house. I use it for everything. I cannot list the number of jobs that I use this for. It is unbelievably useful for every job that you have on a homestead. You have to have it with you. Thanks for being here with us on the homestead. We hope the video was helpful for you in figuring out those top tools that we think are really necessary to have before you step out into homesteading. Or if you're looking for a gift for somebody, something to get a family member or friend who's moving out into the country. Thank you for being here, and we want you here on a permanent basis. So don't forget to subscribe to the channel, like the video, and hit that little notification bell. Don't forget to head over to countrylivingexperience.com to read our blog, visit our tool store. Also, all those tools that we recommended are down in the description below. So don't forget to go down there and check it out, and look for us on all the other social media platforms, Pinterest, Instagram, Facebook, you name it. We're doing some little bit different things on each one, so go check us out there. Have a great day. We'll see you next Tuesday on the next video. Bye.